So I'm keeping true to my usual tradition. I am once again watching horror movies all through October. Admittedly, this time I have not kept up as well as I have in the past. So I'm not going to hold myself to as strict a rule as absolutely must watch one a day throughout the month. Instead, I'm going to just try to watch as many as I can and report them back to you because I want to do something. So the first movie I watched was The Innocence. It was playing at the local art house theater. It's one that I'd seen a long time ago and one that my friend Andrew had shown to me and raved about, and I loved it. I loved it then, I loved it now. Some of my other friends didn't care for it. They felt that it was way too overhyped by Andrew. But I don't know. There's still something about it. I absolutely loved it. I love the story, the turn of the screw. I love the twist. I love the cinematography in this movie is fantastic. The composition of the frames, everything is... I don't know. It's... Maybe I'm doing it a disservice by talking so highly of it. Maybe I should just shut up and you should watch it yourself. The next movie that I watched was Amityville 4: The Evil Escapes. This one, a drastic departure from my first movie in terms of quality and importance, but it was enjoyable. There's really nothing else to say. It was an enjoyable movie. I watched it because I didn't know it existed. I knew the book existed. I picked up a copy of the book at Goodwill a long time ago. Well, I can't find it right now, but I know I have it. Pretty sure I read it. Maybe I just skimmed through it. Or maybe I just read the first page. I don't know. Point is, I never knew that it was a movie. And this movie was pretty ridiculous, but very enjoyable. Okay, alright, some highlights. Okay. A team of priests exorcises the Amityville house. But the devil himself squeezes himself into a ball about this size and travels through a power cord into a lamp and waits until the lamp is sold at a yard sale and travels across the country and then comes out in that little ball through the cord into the circuitry of the house and now possesses a new house. It's pretty ridiculous. And Patty Duke's in it. It's great. You should check it out. Another movie I watched was Children of the Corn 2: The Final Sacrifice. Why the second movie in a series of at least 7 or more films would be called The Final is, a bit strange, but hey, Friday the 13th did it too, so whatever. There's a lot to be said about sequels and their ridiculousness. I haven't seen all the Children of the Corn sequels yet, but I still, at least I want to believe that number 3, Urban Harvest, is the most ridiculous and most wonderful. But 2 was not without its charm. And there were a couple of moments where I had this weird wave of nostalgia where I thought, I remember seeing this a long time ago as a small child, getting up in the middle of the night, and my older sisters had friends over and they were watching horror movies at night, and I, hide behind the couch and watch bits of it. They definitely watched this movie, Children of the Corn 2, because I distinctly remember seeing the kill where the children literally drop a house on an old woman. Which, as a child, I thought was it kind of freaked me out, but as an adult watching that scene, she literally yells, "What a world," as the house comes down. Just like the Wicked Witch of the West. and her legs stick out just like the Wicked Witch of the East. Oh, it was hilarious. But okay, here's the thing about Children of the Corn 2. It tries to scientifically explain away the events of the movie, and yet blatantly throws the supernatural aspect in your face at the same time. He who walks behind the rose is some sort of ancient god, deity, creature of some kind with mind control powers that possesses one child to lead all the others to do whatever his will should be. Well, they try to explain that away in this movie because the corn had mold on it. And that mold is highly toxic and affects the brains of developing humans. So they tried to use that as an explanation for why the children would do the things that they did, because they all went crazy from the corn toxins. And yet, he who walks behind the rose is very clearly still there, and it is a thing that exists. So I think the movie's trying to have it both ways and involve both, and say that he who walks behind the rose is using the alpha toxin to his advantage to make all the children much more susceptible to his magic. I'm thinking way too hard about this. I also watched Prince of Darkness, John Carpenter movie that was wonderfully mixed. It was a bizarre combination of horror subgenres. It was a zombie film, sort of. It was a possession film, sort of. It was a Satan film, sort of. It was also a sci-fi, kind of. And it had Alice Cooper in it. Highly recommend. And that's all I have for you right now. There will be more of these, at least 2 more of these vlogs, because I am still trying to watch as many movies as I can. And there may be some surprises here and there throughout the month. Just stay tuned and see.